Hello, oh, my phone's getting louder. Okay, hi. So this is a spirit tier list video on add-ons. I have been meaning to do this for the longest time now. I've been meaning to make a lot more videos, to be fair. But I really am not a fan of sitting in my room alone and talking to nobody. This isn't going to be very professional. In all honesty, it's not going to be very well edited because I literally don't know how to. Um, and also, like, you can hear my fans. My microphone decides to pick up my fans for some reason. Like, I've got them turned down as low as I can without my PC deciding to obliterate. My dog is autistic and annoying and is going to bark probably throughout this entire video. So yeah, not very professional, but I have done I've posted pictures of tier lists and written in comments kind of my brief thoughts. That was really dyslexic. Brief thoughts on things. I kind of want to be able to explain in depth, have a bit of a ramble on why I think each add-on is good and why I think each add-on is not so good. This, for the most part, is going to be fairly objective. There are lots of niches to add-ons that people don't take into any form of consideration when they're kind of like doing them. Um, and yeah, I'm going to start with Blossom in Blossom 2. Um, Blossom was indirectly buffed when they tried nerfing it to. It gives you 3 meters radius of killer instinct when you're phasing on a survivor. This is just such a terrible add-on for so many fucking reasons. The first one is it never teaches you spirit, so you could run this add-on for like 100 spirit games in a row, and then as soon as you take it off, you're going to have no clue where survivors are, because you never learn the killer. Um, yeah, it's just you don't learn how you kind of like I've what a lot of like blossom spirits would do is they'll kind of phase in straight lines around objects, very much an autopilot, and just wait for the boom 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 boom, and then they just swing whenever they hear the heartbeat. So if you double back through them, they will swing straight fucking past you, and if you decide at any point to walk away from the loop, they literally cannot find you. It is so bad. A lot of interactive counterplay for Spirit is managing your sound and stealthing, and mucking around with how your sound sounds, I guess, because you can manipulate it once you learn it. You can't do that with this add-on. It takes away all the skill expression from her as well, because it's just like a spirit will phase on your head, and you're like, okay, so she's either a god spirit, or she did a lucky short phase, or she has this really stupid add-on. And you almost have to. It's almost like Odd Dead Hard as well, where you kind of have to respect the idea that it's in play, just because of a scenario like this. And I don't like that. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's terrible. It goes in bottom tier. Never fucking use it. If I see anyone using it, I will be very upset. But the next tier of things that I actually should. I mean, don't get me wrong. Blossom's like shit, but unfortunately, it's not. It's pretty good to a sense. It's another thing as annoying as well, because like if you've got off the record and you're standing completely still, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You are not making a sound so she can't track you, but Blossom lets you know where they are anyway. And yeah, it's done. So technically it doesn't actually make your power worse, but I think it is worse anyway. But yeah, this literally makes your power worse. The first add-on that goes in this tier is the Yakuyoke amulet. This was a contender for like her best add-on and one of the best add-ons in the game, because what duration add-ons used to do were give you like a flat recharge rate that was exactly the same as your duration. So if you had 70% duration, you also were given 70% recharge, which was huge. This add-on by itself was still very good, even without the ring. Like, the combo was nuts, but even outside of that, being able to have 70% recharge on an add-on, and 8.5 seconds of phase to outplay is genuinely really crazy. However, they have removed this recharge bonus, and this has become literally her worst add-on and a contender for now the worst add-on in the game. Because it still has a minus 15% speed penalty. So you're making yourself slower, you are forcing yourself to use more power, and because it doesn't have a recharge bonus on it anymore, you using 8.5 seconds of phase nets you a 25.5 second cooldown, which I think is fucking ridiculous. I can never imagine using this add-on anymore. It is in desperate need of a rework. She has a few add-ons, to be fair, that are in need of a rework. But this one is just is so bad, so bad. I don't think there's much more to say on it other than just don't use it. Don't. You don't need 8.5 seconds of phase. You don't need to make yourself slower. Don't put yourself in a 25-second cooldown. It's just stupid. But the next add-on, which is shit, is the katana tsuba, and I want to talk about this for probably a little bit longer than other add-ons, because it has a lot of kind of quirks to it. Some of them make it a lot worse. Some of them are pointless. So what this add-on does is, when you come out of phase, it makes that speed boost 0.2 seconds longer, and it makes it 5% faster. This is different to something like, well, this, where it gives you 5% phase speed, because phase speed add-ons change your multiplier. So this is a speed boost which is halfway in between shoes and cap. So for starters, the lunge that you get is slower than cap, but also Spirit's lunge is considered, for all intents and purposes, a standard M1 killer lunge. So it'll last 0.8 seconds. The speed boost that she gets lasts a second. So there's kind of like, I don't really know how to do it with my mouse, but like, so let's say you come out of phase and then sorry, morning. You come out of phase and it's like 0.8 seconds lunge. Your speed boost brings you over that. So increasing the length of your speed boost by 0.2 seconds, your lunge isn't going to get any faster. You're just speeding up the time at which you recover. So what this add-on does is one of two things. It gives you kind of like, sorry, my dog's really annoying. It gives you kind of like an extra 0.2 second window. So like normally you've got 0.2 seconds and then you can lunge and you'll still get kind of like the full bonus of like the speed. If you start your lunge like 0.2 seconds later. So what this add-on does is give you another 0.2 seconds to like kind of start your phase. So you can kind of like come out of phase, run for 0.4 seconds, and then you can lunge. One, I think this just makes you a terrible spirit. I'm gonna put it out there. You should realistically be hitting your phases kind of like on the survivor pinpoint and shouldn't really be lunging anyway once you're good at her. So giving yourself an extra 0.4 seconds to start lunging, like you have to have just missed that phase by a mile. And I think that's just not good. It doesn't give you a speed bonus in phase like other add-ons do. Like why when this lunge makes you longer, but also makes you faster in phase, when this doesn't make you faster at all? I don't understand why you'd run it. It's silly. It has like one niche of being good with coup de grace, because obviously your lunge with coup de grace is longer, so the extra 0.2 seconds that it gives you applies to coup. So if you want to run a meme build spirit where you're like, wow, super huge lunge, then you run ring and katana tsuba. That gives you the longest coup lunge, but the longest lunge when not in coup is ring and this. So, you know, I also think that coup is best used. This is a bit of a digression, but I think coup is best used on spirit when you can land a pinpoint phase. So when your power is on cooldown, you have coup to be able to make up for the fact that you are a terrible M1 killer. But yeah, and then another thing I want to say about this add-on, which not a single person has ever spoken about, because to be fair, I did find this out recently. But the add-on, basically, Spirit comes out of phase and she has her speed boost. And that speed boost lasts a second. And you will notice if you have played Spirit enough that it takes that away from your power bar. So when you phase for 4 seconds, it'll take away an extra second, so all of your power bar will be gone. So the recharge difference between a 4-second phase and a 5-second phase is literally exactly the same. What this add-on does, which I don't actually have footage for, so you're just going to have to take my word for it, and I will post it at some point, I guess, is where it makes your phase speed boost 0.2 seconds longer, it'll take away an extra 0.2 seconds of your power bar, which without any recharge converts to 3 times longer. So every single phase that you do that is not anything that's under 4 seconds, of with this add-on, every phase that you do is going to take 0.6 seconds longer to come back than if you didn't, which can genuinely mean the difference between a hit or not. Like, it sounds so pathetic complaining about 0.6 seconds, but genuinely 0.6 seconds can mean the difference between you getting a game-winning hit and you getting a game-losing miss. It is not, for the most part, a very good add-on. People think it's a meme add-on. It's not even a meme add-on. Like, its literal only niche is coup de grace with ring and tsuba. Other than that, don't use the add-on. Cap is better in every single way. Her next add-on, which is terrible and makes her power worse, is... Can you read, please? Is this add-on, the Mother's Glasses. What this add-on does is give you Killer Instinct in phase when someone comes near your husk. This is supposed to be paired with this add-on, which we'll go onto in a minute. But the issue is you don't need this add-on to make the purple add-on work. It's for the most part very distracting having someone like... I know for a fact that most people who played against Spirit, this is so childish. But whenever she's phasing and she's fucked off, you like stand next to a husk because you think it's funny, and you might slap her bum because you think it's funny because you're a child. People will do this, and you can hear it when you're all the way across the map, and it just ruins your face. I think it's dumb. You just don't need it. If you are playing a loop, and someone bolts into your husk, you can hear it. You don't need to be told that they're in your husk because you can hear the fact that they vaulted into your husk. It's not a good add-on. It's stupid. It is no, just no. The next add-on is the furin. This again was a contender for, I personally think, the best add-on in the game. I think it was the best out of her big three, and no one used it. I used it a lot. If you ever went against me on UK servers for the 5 months in a row I was running it and just grabbing people off gens, then you would know how horrible it is. But if you don't, it's shit now. What it used to do was, so Spirit, outside of 24 meters, when she starts phasing, you can't hear her. And then when she gets within 24 meters of you, it starts very quietly and then gets a lot louder the closer she gets. What this add-on used to do was whenever you shouldn't be able to hear her phase sound, so outside of 24 meters, outside of her terror radius, you'd hear this static, just shh phase sound. And it was like, it was basically the old Spirit phase sound, but it was on the current Spirit. And this add-on had a few niches that made it really annoying. One, to begin with, when most people were running it, they didn't realize what, like, the cool part of it was, and they were just, well, if I can hear that static phase sound, then it means she's not coming. This add-on was bugged. And if you started your phase further than 24 meters away from someone, when you then transition to be closer than them, which is what the add-on does now, it does change the sound. It never used to change the sound. So you'd constantly have this static phase audio sound, and she was coming right for you, and you had absolutely no idea. So what I used to do was run barbecue and DMS, and I would see people on faraway gens start about 30 meters away and phase to them. And then either they let go, proc DMS, and they're like, oh, she wasn't coming, that's so boring. And then they get bored of letting go of the gen and proccing DMS, and then you can grab them off the gen because you literally have no idea that she's coming. You could also run this with undetectable perks. It didn't work with monitor for some reason. I'm kind of digressing about an add-on that doesn't do this thing anymore. But you could run undetectable perks, and having no terror radius meant that she had absolutely no chase phase sound ever. It was really stupid. What this add-on does now, though, is it does correctly transition from directional to non-directional, to directional. So it technically makes your power worse in the sense that if it suddenly goes from a static sound to very quiet in one ear, sometimes you might not pick up the very quiet in one ear straight away, but obviously now with the big jump from it being static to very quiet in one ear, you know that she's coming in advance. This is a bit of a nitpick here, but the add-on is just pointless. Like, the only niche this add-on has is if you're playing against someone who is playing out on their console out of their TV speakers, which for the most part you are obviously not going to struggle with anyway, because they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, I'm a bit nitpicking here, but this add-on has very much fallen from grace. I do think it makes you slightly worse. It makes your approach a lot more noticeable, so just don't touch the add-on. Basically, it's not. It's just annoying hearing the sound over and over again. You know. Okay, so the next tier is pointless. These are add-ons that you could run and then you could not run, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference because it doesn't do anything. So the first one we have is the juniper bonsai. This add-on, I don't know the exact numbers because I don't care, but it makes your passive phasing stronger, makes it more frequent, makes it last slightly longer. And for the most part, this add-on is kind of shit. I don't like passive phasing. I think it's fine, but genuinely, if they removed it, like, tomorrow, I wouldn't care, because I've never utilized it, because I don't walk people down. You, for the most part, as a spirit, should be getting a phase for, like, 99% of your hits. Someone might walk into you, but, like, you phase on healthy people, you phase on eyeball people, you just learn the killer and get very fast hits with a very, very, very strong power. Passive phasing is not your very strong power. It is when you are out of power, and realistically, it doesn't. People are like, oh, I got hit by passive phasing, but like, if the loop is short enough to get cucked by passive phasing, then I feel like you're gonna get cucked enough by any killer there. She's still a 4.4. I mean, obviously, but like, I don't know. It's just not great, and you can hear her through walls as well, so she can't realistically make any form of M1 mind game without being very audible as to where her location is. So just don't run it. Stop walking people down. It's cringe. Learn her, and you'll realize that this add-on is terrible. The next point, this one is the kintsugi teacup. This a lot of people did not like when I posted it on Twitter. It has the one niche of if you have a kick palette challenge and you send yourself to Gideon, then yes, I guess. Or if you want to run like the 4 rank or build with Nemesis, then yes, it works. But for the most part, spirits should not be kicking that many pallets. On your general map, obviously there are some maps that have like a ridiculous number of god pallets, in which case you're shit anyway, and they can run to a new god palette before you can catch up with your power. Like, it's pointless. But spirit for the most part should be kicking shack, maybe long walls because the wall is irritating. And honestly, not even short wall gyms. The thing is, and I want to go about, like, I want to talk about this more in my spirit guide, is that pallets are a very good zoning tool. It's kind of like a false safe haven for survivors. They'll run to the pallet thinking that they're safe, and you can play around the pallet in a way that will always result in a hit unless you misplay really, 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 really badly. Husk positioning is super important. And breaking pallets is just, yeah, makes that less important. If you're just breaking every pallet on the map, then like, yeah, sure, obviously you're going to walk down people eventually, but you don't need to. Leave them up, let people run to predictable areas and get a guaranteed hit because they're stuck in your husk at the pallet. Don't run this add-on. It's not good. You don't need to break pallets. Why would you bring an add-on when you're only going to break like 2 or 3 pallets max on the map? It's stupid. It's just, no, don't do it. It's very brutal. Don't run it. Run enduring instead. The next one I'm gonna just put together because there's no point talking about them separately are the mini duration add-ons. These were buffed by 0.25 seconds when they nerfed them to have no recharge. It's shit. You don't need 6 seconds of phase. Well, 6.25 seconds of phase. It's just, yeah, there's not been a single loop in any game where I've thought, oh wow, if I had 6 seconds of phase, I would have got that. No, because if you use 6 seconds of phase, you get put into an 18-second cooldown. So play it properly, use less of your phase, don't get in such a big cooldown, and you'll find you'll get hits anyway. I don't really want to talk about them too long. I just don't think they're good. I don't think you need them. They give you a longer recharge. It's just not worth it. The next add-on is kind of a fun one. It's the senko hanabi. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Sorry. This add-on, when you unphase, your husk explodes. I say in quote marks because there's no animation. It doesn't do anything. But what it does is I'm fairly certain it was within 5 meters for 4 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna Google it. This is so bad. Yeah, the senko hanabi. I forgot her name. But when you unphase, this addon will explode and will block all vault locations within a 4 meters for 5 seconds. This addon is in a limbo of, in the state that it's in now, it's not very good. If the numbers got buffed, it would make loops uncounterable. So it has to stay bad, or it ends up just being ridiculous. And I would rather add-ons be healthy and bad than unhealthy, sorry, and really good. For the most part, you should be blocking windows and pallets with your husk anyway. The husk is a very good zoning tool. I went on about this just earlier. Like, you don't need an add-on to block windows for you when your body can block them for you instead. It doesn't reach to any window that you can't get a hit at anyways. And also, if you're blocking pallets, this is why it can't be buffed, because otherwise you'd end up in a situation where you're blocking the shack pallet, and then when you unphase, they're obviously running back round into shack, and they can't make the pallet because you're in the way. So they gun for the window, and then you unphase, and the window is blocked. It puts them in an uncountable situation where they can't take either escape route. It doesn't do that now, so it's not very good. And yeah, it's just don't run it. It doesn't do anything. I have never seen anyone ever get value out of it. I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I basically, there's no situation I can think of where blocking a window with this add-on, you couldn't either block with your husk or catch up to the window with your power anyway. So the last add-on that I want to put in Pointless is the Wakazashi Sire. It's just, I want this add-on to be good, okay? I think it's really fucking cool. This add-on functions a little bit like Jenna's Last Breath. It's kind of like pre-buff Jenna's Last Breath when they nerfed the nurse. But what this add-on does is when you press the active ability button, it lets you teleport back to your husk, which I think is really fun. However, one, it doesn't function like Dredge. When you place your husk facing, like if you are placing your husk to be facing, like if you're inside shack and you're facing the window and you are phasing round and you're forcing someone to vault back into your husk, and you are, before you unphase, you are facing your husk. When you then unphase, you're going to be facing in the direction to which you were last looking at, not your husk. And that is very disorienting. I really... So I keep choking on my own tongue. I really don't like that. It's very disorienting to use. And also, when people realize the add-ons in play, they are just going to hold W to a different loop. There's no situation I can think of where like people like will be like, oh, you can put your husk one end of the pallet, and then when they vault into you, you can TP back to your husk and get a free hit. But you can kind of, in a pseudo sense, do that anyway. If you block someone with your husk in a pallet, you can just run back round to the pallet and get a hit. Like, the absolute only niche this add-on has is if, again, you send yourself to Gideon, which is an awful map for her, and you stand one end of a literal god pallet and go round the other end of it, and then you teleport back after they vault into you. That is the only niche it has, and it's just so... Like, either, yeah, you get a free down with it, but if you're getting a hit with it, you still have to break that pallet anyway, because they're going to revolt the god pallet. It's like Dredge on crack, but Dredge isn't good. So, making someone who's terrible at the game on crack still makes them terrible at the game. Yeah, it's not very great. So this tier is called the You're Not Cool for Running Brown Add-ons. Well, brains, so the thing isn't too long. It is literally just speed and recovery. These add-ons aren't bad, there's just better versions of them at higher rarities. There's two versions of them at higher rarities. So why would you run brown recovery when you can run yellow and green recovery? Why would you run brown speed when you can run yellow and red speed? There's literally no point running them. Like, that's all there is to it. You're not cool for running browns. No one cares. Just run yellows. This tier is this is an add-on in a tier of its own, and it's called Caveman Good. This is the Uchiwa, which is the stun version of this, which is 2 tiers lower in rarity, but 2 tiers higher in actually how good it is. This add-on for the most part is actually pretty good. I don't run it anymore since Recharge got buffed, but before the Spirit add-on nerfs, I used to absolutely swear by this add-on and Enduring. Enduring is nuts on her anyway. There's a lot of palettes where most palettes you will pre-drop, but there are some palettes you really, really, really need to get a stun on, or you will just be zoned at the palette and you'll get hit anyway. So stunning her at a palette and W keying away from the palette is really the play on a lot of, especially edge map palettes. This add-on with Enduring is insane because you can just absolutely caveman through every single palette. You don't need to mind game them. You swing through every single palette and they either stun you and you don't get the swing, or you get the swing. And if they stun you, you should be running Enduring with it, so I guess I'm talking about this add-on plus Enduring. But this add-on plus Enduring, you get stunned and you instantly get your power back and you recover from it immediately. And yeah, it's caveman good. It's stupid. You can obviously be a good spirit and run it, but it's just it's a bit naughty. I think it's a little bit unhealthy. But it's it's good. Recharge for the most part, which I'll talk about now, is better because you get all your recharge anyway. Still very good in combos, but getting an instant refresh of your recharge when you get, I guess, punished when they outplay you, it kind of feels a bit bad when you're like, oh yeah, I summon the spirit, and they recover from it immediately and get the power back and hit you anyway. But it's whatever. It's a good add-on. I like it. I think you should run it too. The next one is the Broken Watch. I'm probably gonna put this higher. Actually, I'm gonna do the rest of the tier list and put this a tier higher. This gives you 30% recharge on your power, which is insane. Before all of her add-ons were changed, this was 20%, and this also had 20% recharge. And anyway, so this add-on used to be terrible. But having 30% in an add-on, that is 5% better than what Rusty Flute was pre-buff. So it is a very nice add-on to have. Having a better recharge, like Spirit, is very much limited by the fact that she has a terrible recharge. 15 seconds at base for using 4 seconds of your power is not fun. Yeah, really not fun actually. So being able to reduce that cooldown is really fun because you get to use your power all of the time, and her power is so fun and so strong. So recharge is really good. I say it's still very good in combos because you're not running this by itself as either your only recharge. Like, most people aren't running yellow speed and yellow recharge. They're going to be running green recharge with it, but it's very good with green recharge. The next item I want to talk about is the Money Sports Cap. I'm probably gonna actually change my mind and swap these over, which is what I've done now. The Muddy Sports Cap gives you 10% phase movement speed. I actually don't think it's that great. Like, it is good. I wanna actually so I wanna see the difference. I use some of them off the top of my head. So Spirit is this fast, and then her add-on is this fast. Oh no, I did them the wrong way around. That's so annoying. Fuck. Sorry, I'm so sorry typing because I'm cold. This add-on is 6% faster than your normal speed. So it says, oh, it makes your phase speed 10% faster. It makes your phase multiplier 10% more. So the way it works is her walk speed is 4.4, and then her phase speed multiplier is 1.6, which is how you get 7.04. This add-on adds 10% to the 1.6, so it adds 1.7. Add-ons are additive for the most part if they're working correctly. Yeah, this, I don't know. 6% extra speed is fine. It's good. I don't hate it. I just think there are better add-ons to be running. For example, this one. This makes your charge speed, that when you stand still and you charge your bar for 1.5 seconds, this makes it 15% faster. This will always net you, and this actually, we'll talk about both at the same time. And this is the best. This add-on will always net you 0.3 seconds saved, always, because you're always saving 0.3 seconds on like the start of your thing. This add-on, the more you use your phase, the more time it's saving you, but you are only saving yourself more time than this if you do like a full, I can't remember the exact number. I'll probably have to put it in a comment somewhere, but you have to use a decent amount of your phase. I genuinely think it's around 4 seconds of your phase is the only time this add-on beats it. It beats it in loops if you're mind gaming, if you're going like left and right and shit. I don't think that's necessary at most loops. You can just W key most of them for the most part, because the thing is, like, either you'll get someone who keeps panic vaulting and then you won't even need to move left and right all that much, or you get someone who doesn't vault at all because they're being patient because they know you're trying to mind game them. And sometimes being a caveman and just W gunning everything is better. So yeah, these add-ons are so good. Running both of them together and having a less than 1 second kind of charge up time is so good. It means that people aren't getting stealthier quicker. They're more likely to be around about the last location to which you saw them, because you can still get a decent distance. Like if they are running as well, like that's 2 meters you're saving if they are running, which that's huge. Like I know that sounds like so stupid, but 2 meters is very, very, very clearly like them making a pallet or not. This is like made for this, but for spirit. And then this one, recharge, is obviously really, really, really good. I want to talk about, I think recharge is better than ring, but I'm just going to chuck recharge on there because I've already spoken about recharge. This is 40%, it's so much better. Having the pair of them together is like Yakuyoke's old recharge, obviously in 2 add-ons, but you don't get penalized speed-wise. Having more of your power back all the time is so good. I genuinely think recharge needs nerfing. It could probably do with being 30%, maybe 35%, but 30% and 25% and then 20% would be healthy. I genuinely don't think it's healthy. I think having 40% recharge on a single add-on, what other killer has that? Like, actually be serious. No one else has that. Spirit has huge multipliers on her add-ons for the knowest of reasons. She's already super strong. She doesn't need nuts add-ons. But yeah, until it gets nerfed, run it. It's so good. It's beautiful. I want to talk about ring for quite a bit now, actually. It is no longer, I'd say, at the top of her list. And the reason I say this, so what this add-on used to be is, I said earlier that speed add-ons are like your walk speed times your multiplier, and then this would add 40% onto your multiplier. This was bugged for about 5 years, maybe 4, for a ridiculously long time. This was even after she got nerfed, so she had phase audio, which was like 3 years after she even existed. For an entire year after that, this add-on was still bugged to actually multiply the entire thing by 40% rather than just add 0.4 onto the multiplier. So this effectively was 66% in an add-on, and we had to deal with this on nerfed spirit for a year. 66% was huge, like absolutely fucking huge. If you look at old spirit videos, from like before the Knight was released. If there's no mention of Knight or Shattered Square anywhere, then this is pre Mother Dooring kind of bug fix. I will call it a nerf because it was nerfed, but the bug fix, 66% was absolutely like, just watch the videos and you see how fast it was, and then compare it to what we have now, and it's actually night and day. It's ridiculous. And then it was bug fixed to actually be 40%, and then it was still nuts, and now it's 25%. And 25% is still good. Like, the add-on that we have now is the same speed as what these 2 add-ons were together after it was bug fixed. So when you think about it, these 2 add-ons together versus these 2 add-ons like pre-nerf together, this is 25% speed and 70% recovery, and this is 25% speed and 40% recovery. So the difference between like the best add-on combo in the game that was like the best killer in the game for ages, the nerf version what we have now is literally 30% recovery. I don't think she was nerfed that hard. It's still obviously very good. 25% is a juicy chunk. You know, it's 8% faster than cap, which is, you know, better than cap. It's a whole meter per second faster. You go like 8.14 meters per second, so it's notable. You can tell when a spirit has ring. You can't really tell when a spirit has cap. But what this add-on does is remove all scratch marks. And when this was bugged back in the olden days, and this is how you know you have old spirit phase speed. What this add-on used to do was stop generating new scratch marks. So you charge your power bar, and all the scratch marks that a survivor had left before you started charging would still be present, so you had kind of like a trail to follow, and then you could listen out for them. When this add-on was bug fixed to 40% and has persisted during its nerf, it now removes every single scratch marks. And there's so many content creators that are like, oh, this doesn't really do anything if you go to Spirit. Kind of true, but at the same time, it has a few downsides. One, indoor maps, especially Leary's, this add-on is fucking terrible. It's not even funny. Like, if I'm using Ring, which for the most part I use quite a lot, I'm a Ring abuser, and I get Leary's, I'm like, wow, I wish I wasn't using Ring now, because it's just genuinely actually not fun to use. Having no scratch marks means that you have to make guesses, kind of like junctions, I guess. Leary's has a lot of those because it's like, did they go into the left room, or did they go into the right room, or did they carry on straight forward? I don't know, because I can't hear them because this map sounds absolutely terrible. So having to guess which wall they ran behind. Sometimes you make the right read, and sometimes you don't. And if you don't, it's very punishing. Also, when you are long phasing on generators and things, you literally don't know if they have stealthed round off to the corner, or if they have run away with sprint burst a million miles away. And you can be trying to like listen out for them when they're around the corner, and you don't know that they've already live to shack. You just don't know. The add-on is good. I'm not downplaying this add-on at all. If I was win streaking, I would probably use this add-on, but also I think I'd feel more comfortable using these two add-ons, one of these two, and a recharge. It's good if you're being sent to a conventional map. Like if you've got this add-on on like Wrecker's Yard, then yeah, it's brilliant. But if you have any map that you're being sent to that is bad for audio, so Eerie is terrible on, Leary's is terrible on, DDS, it's not awful on, but DDS has really bad audio. I don't understand why it was her comp map ever. Or if you have any map where there's kind of like a very distinct, you can go this way or you can go this way, and there's kind of like a wall in between them for audio occlusion, so you can't tell and you have to make a guess. So Midwich, Leary's again. RPD, it's fine on, but it's still not fun. Yeah, there's a few maps in which its downside of having no scratch marks really shows, and if you use this add-on a lot and then you go to this add-on a lot, you're going to be able to see the difference in both the benefits, because the speed is great, and also the downside of having no scratch marks. You do have to be a very good spirit to be able to deal with it on Leary's. Even I struggle on Leary sometimes with this add-on. It's good. I like it. I think it's in a healthy spot. I don't think it needs touching anymore. The only thing I will say is that like the counterplay to this is both better and worse. The counterplay to it a lot when she's long phasing is stealthing, because she has no idea that you've stealthed during a long phase. She will with this, because she'll get your lack of scratch marks, so she'll be able to sniff around the areas where she last saw them and see if she can hear you. But with this, she doesn't know, so she's making a guess. So long phase stealthing works with this add-on, but obviously you can't tell the add-on's in play unless you know her well, and unless you see that she's like a meter per second faster. But yeah, this is the final Ace tier list. Oh, I got my alarm to wake up. That's so embarrassing. My boyfriend woke me up like really early because he has to go to work. So I thought I'd make this and get it out of the way because I've been putting it off for ages. But yeah, this this is the tier list of spirit add-ons. Take it in, because this is correct. Really good combos that I like are Uchiwa and Ribbon if you have enduring. Any form of speed with flute, double recharge, double charge speed. I just don't see myself using any of these ever. This is terrible. Never use it. It's completely fucking pointless. It makes me angry. These are just bad. Like, there's no point, basically. There's no point. If anyone can find me a clip of this add-on being really cool. Like, I used this add-on for ages, and I had, like, 2 clips where it was really, really cool in, like, the literally 50 games in a row I ran it. It's just not ever worth it. Sorry. I want it to be worth it. I think it's cool, but it's not. But yeah, for the most part, like, flute is insane. It really... Go away. How do I click away? There we go. Flute is insane. Ring is still obviously very good. I'm not trying to downplay it by any means. It is still one of the best add-ons in the game. I just don't think it's as crazy as it used to be. Like, if I see ring flute now, I'm like, wow, they're running flute, not, wow, they're running ring. Like, I literally don't care about ring anymore. It's fun, it's good, it's still really good, but flute is just better. Flute is nuts. Flute could literally do with a nerf, and that is my final thoughts on it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you stick around for some more videos when I get round to it. Thank you, bye. 41 minutes!